Statement, and then we'll take questions from the media.
All right, well, midway through.
Recording in progress.
You just push record? Okay, no worries. Someone's recording this. No. Midway through the season, sitting at 6-0, happy about what the team's been doing, and every week the work that the guys put in. After watching the film, I'm really pleased with the team and the direction we're headed, but we have a lot of work to do still, and we have to do that in a short week. Playing against a really good team, Oklahoma State, that played in the championship game last year, so they have a great head coach. Mike Gundy's he's one of the longest tenured coaches in college football, so he's seen it all in terms of what types of seasons and how and responding to adversity. So we know we're going to get their best shot. We had a game against them last year, so it's one of the carryover games that we had from our first year in the Big 12 to the second year, and so we had a close one against them in the end of the year last year and went to double overtime and didn't work out in our favor. And so we're looking forward to this matchup and being a little bit more familiar with their roster and the depth chart and the coaching and styles and scheme. They have the same knowledge with us. They're coming off a bye week, so we know what that's like and how it can be an advantage. We just had that advantage for us, and so we know we're going to get the best shot. I say this every week. I just got to make sure that they get ours as well, and we're really happy about the game being here and being here Friday night, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that game, looking forward to the matchup. Guys got to stay humble, stay hungry, and just keep working hard. I mean, this is a brand new week, so we're trying to go 1-0 every week. So I'm glad what we've been able to accomplish. It's not anything that we didn't think we could do. So we're in a really good spot now, but just really happy for the team and the way they played. I've been really pleased with the overall the coaching staff. I know a lot of attention goes to the coordinators, and then I think A-Rod and K-Pop and Jay have done an amazing job. Getting the teams and their phases ready every week. But there's a lot of, I don't think enough attention goes to the other guys that have been able to get it done too. And just want to make sure that everybody knows those guys have done an amazing job. And offense, having TJ Woods coach the O-line, Kevin Gilbride coaching the tight ends, Harvey Unga with the running backs. And they've done a great job. And then you look at what Fessie's done with the receivers and obviously A-Rod. Work with the quarterbacks, so I like what the offense is doing. Still a lot of really good things that we can improve on that help us be in a better spot to put more points on the board. Defensively, been really pleased with Sione Poha with the D line and with Kelly Papinga with the D ends. Justin Enna with linebackers, Janelle Guilford with the corners. They've done a great job, and just those guys just working well together and we're making some big plays on defense, and those guys done a great job. And we've had some wonderful help from from our analysts and our consultants and GAs, and they've done an amazing job. So I just want to make sure that they get some recognition too. So as we go through this, looking forward to the second part of the season, and looking forward to Game 7. Can't wait. I'm glad we're at home. It's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to the game. So what questions do you guys have for me?
Thanks, Coach. We'll start with Mitch Harper and then John Kuhn.
Kalani, how much did that loss, you noted this was a carryover game, how much did that loss in Stillwater last November fuel this year's team to the successes they're experiencing at the midway point right now?
Yeah, I think it was tough, man. I think we all had – it's kind of like the last two games where you knew that it was coming close to an end, and we had awesome seniors that sacrificed a lot to be here. And I think the hard part was just saying goodbye to them and not extending the season, and guys that we saw that were back, this weekend and have been around them, like AJ Vonk-Pachonk and Keenan Slovis and guys like Eddie Heckard, Cam Garrett. All those guys have done a great job leading this team. Their hard work got this team kind of a jump start into this year. So I'm really proud of this team, but that was a sour taste and a sore spot for us, and so this is a chance for us to try to make things right. And not really worried about the revenge factor as much as I just want our guys to play really, really good, clean football, play at our best. Again, focusing on what we can do, And if we can do that, I feel really good about our chances, especially being at home. But it's going to be a dogfight, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. We saw some really cool things from Arizona. Got a lot out of our players, and so we're looking forward to the challenge with Oklahoma State too.
Gundy was non-committal about their quarterback situation, kind of leaving it open for all three quarterbacks to be in the mix to start this week. Are you guys going to dive into extensive film on those backups to be ready, I assume?
Yeah, I mean we got to cover everything. So I mean, I think they're a really good coaching staff, and you don't just luck into playing for the conference championship last year. So we have to be ready for all of it. But I think the key for us, and this is going off of this last week, we made some mistakes that were not like us. You know what I mean? And on defenses, I think if we can just play assignment sound football, focus on the fundamentals, the simple things that we can fix, I think that'll put us in a better position for success, regardless of who the quarterback is. But that's their expertise. They know how to get their quarterbacks ready, and we're looking forward to seeing their best guy. I mean, we might see one, we might see all three. We just have to be ready to do our part on defense.
Kalani, you look at what Parker Kingston's been able to do to this point in the season, and he's one of three players in Big 12 history to have multiple games with a receiving TD and a passing TD. What about his skill set and how he prepares and plays is unique, but allows him to be kind of that Swiss Army knife that you can plug in and utilize in different plays and schemes?
Well, he's a great athlete and with a high football IQ. Played quarterback at Roy, so he's got he's got playmaking ability, so he can throw the ball, but he can also run. He just understands the game, and then you combine that with speed and athleticism. Usually a great recipe for a really good player, and he's bought into his role. He's bought into doing whatever he can do to help the team win, and I love having him on the team. I think he's a big weapon for us, and to go along with and complement the other weapons that we have on offense.
We'll go Jared Lloyd and then Jake Hatch.
Kalani, I wanted to ask about the way this team is so balanced. You've got a lot of really good players. I don't know if anybody would point to anybody on this team and say, oh, that's the superstar. How proud of you are just the way everybody has kind of elevated their performance to be such a balanced team?
Yeah, I'm just proud of the guys. I mean, they worked hard, and I think the spotlight's going to shine on guys when their opportunity is to make plays. But I love that they know it's not just them doing it all by themselves. You have 10 other teammates that are there with them, making that play work, and a whole bunch of others that are there, working throughout the week to get them ready. So the guys are all bought into the entire team mentality, and when their moment comes, and everyone doing their 111th on the field, if we can just keep that going and keep focusing on improvement, that's going to be the key for us in this week. I mean, we've done that every week so far, and now it's let's get back to being humble, working hard, and trying to find ways to get better.
With the transfer portal, with NIL, we've talked a lot about that, of course, but there can be that leaning toward the individual, what's best for me versus what's best for the team. How important is that at BYU to have that, that culture that you've developed?
Well, I think it's just you look into all the different variables in recruiting. You have to be able to play the game, but we have to see what kind of teammate they're going to be, and how they're going to fit into the team dynamic overall, and not just what one person is going to do for our team, but what can they add to the culture? Can they help enhance the culture, and do they have the faith to carry on? Do they have the humility to represent their families, and can they be focused on what's more important than the things like money and things like that? Looking at experiences and the valuable memories that will be there for them that last a lifetime. That's got to be the key. And so I think if they have their focus and they have their mind right, I think they'll just realize this is a great spot for them. And there's a lot of great things about BYU, but it doesn't fit everybody. But it'll fit the right people, and I think the proof is in what we've been able to accomplish on the field. this year, but it's like I look at every year that we've been here and we've seen this team and this culture that I've tried to bring along, that I learned from Lavelle, is that no matter what the result is or what the scoreboard looks like, our guys know that there's more to life than just being a football player. And so the goal is to come here and become the best version of themselves. And I'm just trying to do what Lavelle did for me and what other coaches have done for great young men. So I think it's working out really nicely right now, just knowing that they're more than just a football player.
Kalani, I don't know if this was answered earlier, if you referred to it, but Ollie Gordon is the reigning Doak Walker Award winner. He's had a really slow start to the season, but how wary are you guys of him? Yeah,
dangerous player. I mean, he's it's hard to keep a guy that's that talented down, and so eventually he's gonna find ways to poke holes in your defense. And we got to be assignment sound and make it really difficult for him and for that offense. But great player. He's a next level player. You can see he's an NFL guy. So it's a tough challenge. We see it on film, and we saw it all on film last year. So he's the same guy with the same talent. He's got tremendous speed and athleticism. So this is a tough matchup. We just got to be on top of it and make sure that we can make it difficult for him, because I've seen a lot of teams that do make it difficult for him. He finds ways to make plays, but we just it's got to be all 11 guys on the field taking care and being aware of what he's doing.
All season long, you've been adamant that you believed in this team and what they could accomplish. Now they're sitting at 6-0. Was there a certain point during maybe training camp or the season that told you, hey, this team has what it takes to do what they're doing?
Oh, I knew what these guys are capable of doing because I know the character that's in them. So as we start working from January to this moment, you just have a good feeling about it. And I had a good feeling about last year's team too. I don't predict the scores, but what I can do is I can control who they are and what their parents raised, and then try to complement that with with their teammates. And so it's working on the scoreboard, but this is something that you have to keep working on culture and keep working on connection and mission and what they want to accomplish in life.
We'll take some more questions from Sean Walker and then Jay Drew.
Kalani, I've got. I want to kind of focus on the trenches, maybe one very specific example, and then I've got a follow-up, if you will, with the group overall on the offensive line. But I noticed that Sonny and Bruce are both listed as with the co-starters at center. Is Sonny still a little bit up in the air with regards to his health, his availability?
I think Sonny will be more ready to play this week. It's just a matter of where everybody's going to fit. The cool thing about it is that they all played guard and center, Sonny and Bruce specifically. And so you have Austin and Waylon there at guard. You can only start 5 guys, so we really feel good about the depth at our O-line position. TJ's done a great job coaching them. It's just whoever's going to be the best fit for us right now and at center. So Bruce did an amazing job in this game against Arizona. Sonny did a great job against Baylor, and so it's not a bad thing to have guys that have experience now and that have started games in a really difficult spot in replacing a captain and 4-year starter in Connor Pay.
Yeah, definitely not a bad problem to have, I don't think. What do you think that says about that group overall, and maybe specifically what TJ Woods has done with this offensive line? I think I read somewhere that and math was never my strong suit, but I think they've given up a total of 6 sacks or something like that this entire year. Just what is it about Coach Woods where he seems to have gotten the best out of this offensive line?
Yeah, Coach Woods, TJ is a really good coach, and he understands football, and he has a great connection to his players. And so he's going to get the most out of those guys, but he's a great teacher, which was what I appreciate him the most, that he loves these young men and he wants to see them succeed. And the way he's taught them, they've all bought into his philosophy, which is right in alignment with what we want to do as a team and our offense. And so it's worked, but I think you can't although I really appreciate what TJ's done as a coach, you can't bypass the effectiveness of Connor Pay's leadership. You guys that were watching the game could see there's a guy on a scooter rolling out there, and trying to coach it up, and that's been really impressive. We have great leadership, and then to have guys like Caleb Etienne that's a left tackle, and Brayden Keim at right tackle that have tons of reps for us and played a lot of games in college football. I think they can help with the interior three, and then you have Waylon Lapuajo, who started a lot of games too. So I give a lot of credit to the guys that are leaders in that room. Connor being one of them, and then also the seniors with Caleb and and with Brayden and then Waylon. So you can kind of see that there's a good group to be around, and those guys love each other, man, and they work really well. I mean, we're focused on peer-to-peer teaching quite a bit, and they do a great job at it.
Kalani, I wanted to also ask you about Bruce Mitchell. That Sean pretty much covered everything, but just going back to when you guys asked him to move over to offensive line, what did you see in him, maybe his physique or his makeup, that just told you that he could do the offensive line side of it?
Well, his willingness to just do whatever the team needs. That's I've been around a lot of really good teammates and guys that are all about the team, and there's none better than Bruce. So whatever you ask him to do, play guard, fine. Play D tackle, he can do that too. Hey, here, snap the ball and be really effective, and then go block people at the same time. And you have to do it during the bye week and get ready to be a starter for us. The guy is not. He just doesn't know any better other than to do whatever is asked of him, and he'll match your expectations. And that's nothing I did or even that TJ did. He's got an amazing upbringing and wonderful family, and the guy's super tough. So when you put that all together, you're going to have a great result.
We'll take our last questions from Mitch Harper and then Jake Hatch.
Kalani, wanted to follow up. Notice Micah Harper was off the depth chart this week. Did he have a setback, and is he off, or is he out this week?
Off of the nickel spot?
Yeah, he was off the nickel spot depth chart.
Yeah, he's still on the depth chart. So, yeah, he's still there. He's still playing. He played in this last game. We have a lot of really good players that can play, and we rotate quite a bit. But I think at the nickel spot, it's hard to teach two positions at once, and trying to be a little bit more mastering one spot and being really good at it. So I think that's the reason for that move.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Kalani, I just wanted to go back and talk to you about your running backs for a moment here. Are you hoping at some point that one of them essentially emerges as the lead guy, or are you okay with it being by committee week by week?
Yeah, I'm okay with all of it. So as long as we get yards and can get guys that are healthy. I mean, just we also want to ease guys into it, So we have good, capable guys that can play. I don't think you want to just because one guy's healthy get in there and force feed them. I think it's okay that they can do it by committee for a little bit, and then we don't have any tendencies right now, so it keeps people guessing on what the back is and what he specializes in. So there's a lot of reasons behind all of it, more than that, but we just got to keep working. All of them need to get better, but it's good to have guys that have battled. And, I mean, there's a lot of oars there, but you can kind of get a feel for the mix of the guys that are going to be the main guys for us.
I also wanted to ask you real quick, Isaiah Glasker, what's changed that's allowed him to be so effective in his role at linebacker?
Yeah, he's bigger and he's stronger, developed. I mean, he's always been a great player, and when we brought him in from Bingham, he was a skill position. He could play safety and receiver, and we just had the thought of developing him into a big-time linebacker, and he bought into it, gained the weight. I mean, he's I think 6'4", 6'5", 235 pounds, and he's one of our fastest players on our team. So that's a good sign, and it's good to have our backers playing at a high level, and good to have our alumni come back, and it's good to see all those guys that returned, and it was nice for our linebackers to see Fred Warner there, and seeing him there, and just him being just like them, you know. And this is a really good thing, man, to have that consistency in our program and to have alumni that come back and they can kind of understand the vocabulary and the way we talk to each other. So it's a lot of fun.
Thanks, Coach. That's all the questions that we have for you today. Have a great week.
Appreciate it, guys.
Chase, you're up.
We'll have Chase Roberts up next. If you guys have questions for Chase, you can go ahead and use the raise hand feature. Hi, Chase. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
We'll go ahead and start with some questions from John Kuhn and then Jared Lloyd.
Chase, playing alongside Parker and Kingston there in the receiver corps, he's obviously a special talent. He's one of only 3 players in Big 12 history to have multiple games with a receiving touchdown and a passing touchdown. What about his skill set makes him such a unique athlete and unique threat from game to game?
He's just an athlete. He can do whatever you tell him to do. I'm sure he could play corner too if you asked him to. He's just that type of guy that is good at everything. You know, you throw him on the ping pong table and he's gonna whip you in ping pong, stuff like that. He's just a great dude, willing to do whatever. But it's awesome to see his work ethic and it paying off in everything. He can throw the ball, he can run it, jet sweeps, catch the ball, deep balls. He's so fast. So it's been cool to see him progress every year and do what he's doing.
Chase, this team doesn't seem to be one that is focused on superstars. You know, I've talked about it before, but how does that develop? How does that team mentality? Because every athlete has their own individual goals and things they want to achieve, and you want to get to the league. How do you develop that team first? We're just gonna be a really balanced squad. How do you build that in a team?
Yeah, I think we understand that the best way to make it to the NFL, obviously we all have those aspirations, and the best way to do that is by winning games. And so that's putting your team first, and that's buying into the culture, buying into each other and loving each other, buying into the little things. And when we're seeing it pay off, we're winning games. And I think as we keep winning games, there's going to be more and more guys that jump on the radar for the NFL. And that's what we're going to do, just stick to that focus instead of our own individual accolades and stuff like that. We know that as we win games that we'll have the opportunity to go to the next level.
Does that mentality pay dividends in terms of, you got a short week or you got all the hype from last week or all of that? Does that help keep everybody kind of locked in?
Yeah, I mean, that's been our mindset the whole offseason and all season. And you've seen it. We've played in the morning, we've played at night, we've played in the afternoon, in Big 12 kickoff, whatever it is. Like we're coming out and we're winning games. So it doesn't really matter what the situation is. All we care about is the team and winning the game, doing our job for each other, and it's been paying off.
So Mitch Harper and then Sean Walker.
Chase, how much did that mindset you were just referencing, how much of it was shaped by the heartbreak that you guys suffered in Stillwater last year against Oklahoma State to close out last season?
Yeah, I mean, it always hurts to end the season like that. You never want to lose any games, and not being able to go to a bowl game instilled some fire into us. But really, just when it came to the offseason, we had the mindset, no matter what happened last year, of this is a different team. We've got leaders on this team that are going to step up, and we've got the right people in the coaching staff, in the coaching rooms to go and win a lot of games this year. So, I mean, there was some fire that came from last year, but also we were going to do what we're doing this year no matter what.
I wanted to ask, too, this offense and the whole team at large seems to be having this success where no matter whose number is called, back up, Bruce Mitchell steps in third string and plays well at center. Like, what do you attribute to this where everyone's just having when their number's called, they're having success. What do you attribute that to?
I mean, just like I've said, the love that we have for each other, the trust that we have in every individual on the team. We all bought it. There was no one left behind when it came to off-season training. If someone messed up, they were held accountable, knowing that they would have an opportunity to play in a game this season, even if they were third on the depth chart. So as we finished our off-season training, came into season, everyone was ready for an opportunity to go and play and perform in a Big 12 game.
Chase, Jake said something after the game that kind of stuck with me through the weekend, because I think he's right about this, where every other position on the team has like a stat or some sort of like tracking that can tell you roughly like how good you're doing, you know, receiving yards for you guys and scoring touchdowns and pass efficiency in Jake's case, that kind of thing. O-line doesn't really have that necessarily. I know there's some advanced analytics and whatnot that you guys probably take. So can you're a way smarter guy than I am, so can you kind of help explain to me just how good your offensive line has been playing and maybe how important that is for this offense?
I think all the stats on offense attribute to the O-line. So everything good that's happening with the offense, you can put as a stat for the offensive line and what they've been doing. I mean, our rushes our yards per rush, stuff like that we've done so well at this year compared to last year. Everything, you can just see the step up that we've taken at O-line, the toughness that we have, the holes that are opening up, and the D-lines that we're going against aren't soft. These are some of the best players in the nation. So just showing that our O-line is up there with one of the best, and they're just doing their job and focusing on winning games and scoring touchdowns. So we love them.
We'll take our last questions from Jake Hatch and then Jay Drew.
Chase, you kind of referenced this when you answered Mitch's question, but I asked this to Kalani Sitake, but was there a point maybe during training camp or early on the season that maybe spoke to you that, hey, this team could do something special like you guys are doing right now, sitting at 6-0?
I don't know if there was a specific point. I think it was just a gradual feeling that we had as we kept each other accountable in little instances and as we learned. Because at the beginning of our training, there was mistakes. You know, leaders weren't saying stuff. And over time, we're like, okay, we need to step up. We need to figure out right now who we want to be as a BYU football team. And I think once fall camp did come, we just stuck to that accountability aspect and making every day the Super Bowl. And whether it's going against the scout team, going against the starting D, and our whole team just bought in from there. And then every game that we've had so far, we've bought in, and then that's the plan the rest of the season.
Chase, there's kind of this feeling, I think, that you guys haven't quite reached your full potential on offense yet. For the second half of the season, what are some of the things you guys feel like you need to improve on?
I think, we've been getting better every single game. I think it's just having that mentality of small and simple things, whether it's fixing things during practice, just coming together more. And I think as we do that, little mistakes that we make during games will flip the game totally. I think we're a couple plays from just blowing Arizona. I mean, we did play really well against Arizona, but just a couple plays, little things that we can fix to run the score up even more. So I think just dialing in on those little plays that we have been messing up on, and I think we've been doing that week to week as we go back and watch the film and prepare. I just love to see us getting better and better every week, and you'll see that as well as we keep playing games.
Thanks, Chase. That's all the questions for today.
Of course.
Have a great week.
Thank you.
We'll have Brayden Keim up next, so if you guys have questions for Brayden, you can go ahead and raise your hands. Hi, Brayden. How's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
All right, we'll just jump into some questions. Let's start with Jay Drew and then Sean Walker.
Yeah, hey Brayden, what Bruce Mitchell did the other day, just how hard is that, and how hard is it to basically learn a new position midway through your career like he's doing?
Yeah, it's super impressive. Bruce has honestly been really impressive. He's been up for the task, moving from D-line to O-line. Like, he's played guard in games this year, but then moving into center has just been really impressive watching him, his dedication, attacking that opportunity and succeeding in it. So just been really impressed with Bruce overall.
Go ahead, Jay.
That was the only question I had.
Perfect. We'll have Sean and then Jared Lloyd.
Brayden, can I move on to your coach a little bit? What is it about Coach Woods that seems to unlocked another level with you guys? I think you guys had a decent year last year, but it really feels like you've taken it up a notch. And maybe a capital J journalism question. I know this puts you on the spot a little bit, but does he have the best mustache on the team?
Yeah, I think he has the best mustache on the team for sure. I got a little one going, but not quite up to that level yet, maybe one day. But yeah, Coach Woods has been great, just, getting us to play well as a unit, playing together as an entire O-line, and just focusing on our technique. He doesn't let the little things slide by, poor footwork's not going to slide, poor hand placement's not going to slide. So he really just is focusing on all those techniques and making sure we're playing to the best of our abilities.
I'm going to kind of build off that question, Brayden. I'm curious how it feels. The difference on the field, how it feels on the field from, how, when things are kind of rocky to these last few weeks where you guys have been playing really well.
It's just the mindset of just trying to get better every week. We're practicing hard every day at practice, focusing on those things, and it's helping us succeed more as the season goes on, and I think we'll continue to improve as a unit.
I also wanted to ask what it's like to get that stat sheet and know you didn't give up a sack. You guys have done that three times already this year, 3 of the 6 games. How rewarding is that as an offensive line?
Mm-hmm. It's a good feeling to know that we're protecting Jake to the best that we can, and it's just great seeing everybody on the team making plays, and it helps everyone else out. Jake's breaking tackles and making throws, and the receivers are making tough catches, and the running backs are breaking tackles. So all those things just help, make our jobs a little bit easier. So it's that whole team effort.
We'll take some more questions from Jay Capch and then Mitch Harper.
Brayden, Coach Sitake likes to talk a lot about you guys playing complementary football. In your position as a right tackle, what does that mean to you?
Well, the complementary football has been great the past few weeks. The defense is giving us the ball, I don't know where we got the ball this game, on the 10-yard line. These turnovers are huge, and so when the defense makes those big plays and gets us on their side of the field, it's easy for us as an offense to get in and score and, and put those points up on the board. So that complementary football has been huge in these games that we've been playing.
I also wanted to ask you, your running game seems to be getting better and better week by week. What's been the key to that?
I think just gelling together as a unit. Every week you can see it, like you said, we're improving, and I think we'll continue to do so. So I think just having that mindset that we can continue to improve going into practice every week will help us get better.
Brayden, what do you remember about facing Oklahoma State's defensive line and their defense as a whole?
Yeah, I remember, that game starting it off, that's a stout D-line. They're big, strong guys, and I just remember we started off really well as an offense, being able to move the ball and score points, and so that's something we got to focus on this year, not falling into what we did last year against Oklahoma State, just keeping the foot on the gas the whole game and not letting them come back at the end and make it close.
Is it helpful to prepare for an opponent that you've actually seen recently? And I ask that because when you began your career at BYU as an independent, you guys didn't get these annual matchups against teams. Does that kind of help in preparation this week on a short week, knowing kind of a familiarity with the physicality and what their personnel's kind of like?
Yeah, I think that does help for sure, just kind of being familiar with what they're going to do, what they're going to bring to the table. So I think having played them fairly recently, that'll help us prepare for them coming into the game.
Take our last questions from Jared Lloyd.
I had to ask Brayden, did you see the play the Lions ran where they pitched the ball back to Penei Sewell?
Yeah, I did see that. We're gonna have to talk to A-Rod and see if we can do something about getting that into the play calls this week.
Yeah, I was wondering if you're all going to be lobbying to be that guy running around with the lifted ladder.
Yeah, I know Waylon's already been on the coaches about getting something for him, so I might have to get in line and see what we can get worked up.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Brayden.
Yep, thank you.
We'll have Tanner Wall as our last interview today. Hi, Tanner. How are you?
Doing great, thanks. How about you?
Doing good, thank you. So we'll just jump right into some questions. Let's start with Jared Lloyd.
Tanner, I want to start out by asking you about those third downs. I'm sure as you guys went back and looked at it on film, some of those kind of got away from you guys more, particularly some of those third and longs. What's the answer to that to prevent that from happening in the future?
I think from our part, we got to play with a little bit more poise out there. Number one, just kind of anticipating what we're going to see from them. We knew that, third and long is a heavy, drop back pass down for them. So anticipating that, and our communication on the back end, especially in some of those early drives in the game, could have been better. We can't ever complain about the stadium being too loud, but there were a couple times we were trying to communicate and make a couple checks, and I had players standing less than 10 feet from me who couldn't even hear me. So that definitely played a factor, and so we just got to be more prepared. I think going into especially a night game this week, being able to signal and say things to each other that allow us to get the checks right and make sure that we put ourselves in the best position to make a play.
To follow up on that, it seemed like after some of those early drives, you guys kind of locked in and improved. And it's happened before the season where something doesn't go your way, and the defense is able to prove to be resilient. What's the key? Why are you guys able to do that effectively so far this year?
I think there's a number of factors that play into that. I think one of them definitely being we have great coaches who, kind of analyze those first couple drives and see what blitzes and what coverages are working, and obviously there's small adjustments that we make too. It's honestly a blessing to have the tablets on the sideline to be able to look at a couple plays after a drive and really take the coaching points from the coaches and put it to the video. Previously you were just trying to remember in your head, okay, what play was that of the drive? How did we play it? Was I out of position? But now you can actually, put the headset on and be looking at the tablet and get live coaching and receive some meaningful insight. So I think that's, our coaches are able to adapt and adjust the game plan a little bit based on, opening drives and what we see. And, I think Coach Hill is masterful at doing that. So those things definitely play a factor there.
Thanks, Jared. We'll take some more questions from John Kuhn and then Jay Drew.
Tanner, when you look at the interceptions for the defense this year, through 6 games, 10 interceptions, 9 different players have had at least 1 interception.
Right.
And that's kind of a rare thing for a team with so many interceptions. Usually you expect 1 or 2 players to just have a bunch.
Yeah.
What's kind of been the secret that you guys have been able to spread it out like that? Is it something in the scheme? How the coaches approach things, how you guys approach things, and preparing for a game?
I think the scheme definitely plays a part in that. We all know that the 11 guys who are out there, if we all do our job and execute, that we're all going to put each other in positions to make plays. When we started to get in troubles, when guys start to do their own thing or put themselves out of position, and so it's amazing to see 9 different players with interceptions. And all of us, we do a turnover circuit at least once a week where no matter what position you play, you're doing ball drills, you're doing strip sack drills, you're recovering fumbles. And so it's just little details like that we really pay attention to. So when those moments, come up in the game, you got guys like Tyler Batty who, is catching picks. Blake Mangelson catching picks off a tip, and we're Harry recovering fumbles. All those things we practice and we simulate those situations so that when they come up in games, we feel prepared and we're able to just react. But pretty amazing to see that we've had 9 different players with interceptions already this year.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, Tanner, you already addressed the opponent's third down conversion rate being a little high, but what other aspects or what other areas would you like to see the defense improve in the last 6 games of the regular season?
I think we've been great at stopping the run in the first half of the season, but that's something that I think we can continue to improve upon and be even more stout up front. Third downs, as we already mentioned, is an area where we can continue to focus and be great, because up to this point I feel like we've played pretty well on first and second down, and then sometimes we let them off the hook with big plays on third downs. We focus a lot. Each game we typically have a goal, combined sacks and turnovers, and I don't know that we've reached that in any of our games so far this year. So I think focusing on getting takeaways and getting sacks, those are game-changing plays. So continuing to put a lot of pressure on quarterbacks, and which obviously leads to more takeaways as well. So I think those are 3 things that we can definitely focus on going into the second half of the season.
Take some more questions from Sean Walker and then Jake Hatch.
Tanner, I promise I'm not trying to lead this into like a revenge game type of game or question for you guys, but if you can rewind with me a little bit to last year's Oklahoma State game, kind of that game in Stillwater, and
right,
and sort of the heartbreak of that game, how much did that game or even that moment in overtime motivate you guys to do what you did through the offseason and even through the start of this year?
Yeah, it was definitely motivating. To start winter training in December while everyone else is getting ready for a bowl game, that's kind of a rough time, to really just be like, we got to put this in our hands and turn things around so that we don't ever have a season like that again. So that was definitely motivating. Those last 2 games this season, there are just a couple plays in those games that go differently, and coulda, shoulda, woulda made a bowl game. But we in that Oklahoma State game had a couple turnovers, a couple fumbles, and we were up 24-6 at half and came out and kind of let them off the hook defensively. So it was definitely a motivational factor through the off season, just remembering that game and a couple of other games that we really just kind of handed to our opponent, and we let that fuel us in the way that we trained and prepared to come into this year.
Tanner, I asked Kalani this question earlier, but was there a point during off-season training camp, maybe early this season, that said to you, hey, this team's got what it takes to do what you're doing right now, sitting at 6-0?
I think, obviously I feel like from a talent perspective, it's always been there. It's just, sometimes that takes time to click a little bit, but I think really what it came down to for us is just a culture thing. I think when we were on our team camp out in the middle of fall camp this summer, up all the boys, just really feeling how tight-knit and together in one unit this team is, I was like, I really feel like we have something special. And from a leadership perspective, us as leaders, we observed that throughout the off season, throughout the summer, seeing that team culture kind of evolve into being something really special and elite, a family, a brotherhood, right? And so I think that moment, though, in the middle of fall camp, we were like, every guy on this team is going to play for and defend his brothers, and I think we could have something special going here.
I also wanted to ask you, just your tandem work with Crew Wakely, what makes it so effective with you two out on the field together?
Yeah, I feel like Crew and I have great chemistry playing together. We communicate very well before the snap, and are able to disguise coverages and really put ourselves in the best position to make plays. Crew's another high football IQ player. Obviously, was a great quarterback in high school, has a lot of understanding for the game, watches a lot of film. So together, our preparation, we're really able to help one another to make big plays out there on the field. And, as I already touched on, we communicate well before the snap, which is everything, right? That's a huge part of making plays. And so I enjoy being out there with Crew and playing together.
We'll take our last question from Jason Shepard.
Oklahoma State is a team that has a lot of weapons on offense, but yet they've underperformed to this point in the season based off of what they would have wanted. How dangerous is a team like that? And how important is it going to be to make sure that this isn't the week that they find their rhythm?
Yeah, that's a great question, especially coming off a bye week. They've had some additional time to maybe address a few things offensively for them, of things that maybe weren't clicking or weren't working, and how they can fix that. So really for us, it's going to come down to focusing on mastering the game plan, understanding the scheme and what we're going to take away and how we're going to do it, and everyone being bought into doing that, right? So our preparation in these next 4 days, and then including Friday, in the way that we prepare the day of the game, has to be better than their preparation, right? And I'm confident that we will do that. I know that our coaches are confident that we will do that, and we trust them. And so I feel that as we go out and execute that game plan the way that we expect to, that we will come out with a win.
Thanks, Tanner. Appreciate you taking the time to be here.
Thank you.